My name is Mathieu Beausoleil, and although I'm not a classically trained chef, my passion for cooking and refined palate have earned me great respect in the culinary industry. Join me as I taste my way around the world, one bite at a time. This is Takin' a Bite, Ottawa. From the bustling downtown business core to the relaxed and historic neighborhood of the Glebe, dining options are plentiful. Join me as I discover some amazing dry-aged beef with Chef Michael, hone my knife knowledge with Christopher, spin some wood oven pizza pies with Chef Colin, experience St. Patrick's Day while cooking up a classic with Chef Mathew, and enjoy afternoon tea with Deneen. It's time to discover Ottawa's downtown and the Glebe. Today I'm with my friend Chef Michael at Whale's Bone on Elgin Street. Michael, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you, man?
Very, very good. I mean, Whale's Bone has been serving amazing seafood here in Ottawa for like 15 years. You guys are doing something really cool and new at the Elgin Street location, which is dry-aged beef. So tell me about your dry-aged program.
Moving into this bigger space, we realized that we were going to have a larger audience to captivate.
Yep.
We just felt that we needed to delve into a little bit more. You know, if we do seafood as best as we can and try to do it the best.
Exactly.
And so we felt like if we were going to bring in beef, what was the marketplace missing in Ottawa?
Right.
And it hadn't seen that kind of dry-aged beef program. We started small, but it's grown into quite the operation.
Exactly.
We've got beef from about 6 different places.
Cool.
We've got some Ontario, we've got some Alberta, we've got some USDA Prime.
I'm a big fan of beef and steak and dry aging. I'm friends with lots of chefs that do dry aging as well. And I mean, you guys have an amazing setup. I mean, there's identification of the different cuts when they were put there in the dry aging room. But obviously with this whole process, it's not a cheap one.
No.
And when you dry age, there's trimming and cleaning of the product. I mean, I guess there's like 20 to 30% loss. However, you end up with a way better product.
Yeah, way back when all beef was dry aged.
It was all hung for a period of time.
It was all hung for at least like 20, 21, 28 days.
Exactly.
Right? And then they would start processing it.
Right.
And that's because, you know, we need to allow the muscles to relax.
And become more tender.
And become more tender, right?
And I mean, it's a totally different experience in the mouth, and the aroma, the flavor. I mean, it makes a big difference. Do you think we can cook something today? Because I mean, I'd love to. I'd love to cook one, see the processing, try it, and obviously eat it.
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
Yeah.
All right.
This is our ribeye. So this is
Nice.
We're sitting at like 40 days age. You saw what it looks like down there. Now you see what it looks like here.
The aging has been trimmed up, which is really important. You want to have that beautiful, delicious aged taste inside, but you don't really want to have the strong outside.
It'd be like kind of eating a little leather.
Ribeye too is my favorite cut because it's really well marbled. I mean, lots of people like tenderloin, but I mean, ribeye, you gotta have that fat, right?
Yeah. For sure.
All right, so we're gonna cut one of these.
Yeah.
About how big? About 16 ounces?
Yeah, we're gonna shoot for 16. We'll see.
Right.
I got the scale here, so we'll
We're
put
gonna
it on
see how
there
good
and
I
see how
am.
good you
Oh
are.
my goodness. We gotta try and do this in one nice smooth cut too. You don't want a jagged line.
Just do it, man. Don't be scared of the meat. Nice. Looks great.
I love it.
Yeah.
And that marbling throughout too will really add some juiciness to that steak. Oh yeah, you can smell that dry aging, eh?
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, let's see.
Little like nutty.
Do you think this is
nuances.
16 ounces?
I don't know. I think it's
gonna
pretty
be close.
Put it on.
All right, here we go.
What do we got? 16.5. Pretty good for a first timer.
That is pretty darn good. I mean, it's almost impossible to always get a perfect cut.
That's pretty good, man.
I'm pretty impressed with myself.
Yeah. Okay, so have you tied steaks before?
I have not tied a steak before.
No.
No.
Okay, so basically what I do, I always go wrap it around twice.
So what is the value?
Making sure that it cooks evenly.
Right,
You know,
okay.
really.
Yep.
And sometimes those ribs, right, like with this big eye here, can
So sometimes those tissues will kind of fall apart on the steak, and then you won't have that nice uniform thickness. So that'll help with that.
Seasoning, for me, I like to be pretty liberal.
Always important to season liberally. And as you can see, Michael's seasoning from not too close, right? You want to kind of have a nice even coating of seasoning, which is awesome.
Kosher salt,
okay.
and pepper. So you
and that's all you need. That's all you need for a perfect steak.
That's all you need.
If you have a really good flavorful steak, some good marbling and some aging, you don't really want to add anything else. I mean, we want the meat to shine. And that's my rule of thumb is salt and pepper.
Yeah, well, we're spending all this time like
Developing
we're bringing
flavor.
in meat
Yeah.
like 2 months before we're actually
exactly.
going to get to even use it.
I mean, if you're
and,
going to develop flavor in a process like that, why would you taint it with other flavors?
Yeah, season the other side.
All right, perfect. So what doneness are we aiming for?
My personal preference with a rib is like a little over the medium rare side,
Right.
but under the medium side.
Right. You want to render the fat,
You
right?
want to render the
in a
fat,
rib,
exactly.
rib or a rib eye or whatever you're doing, with that fat, if you want to get it to be tender and soft in the middle,
enjoyable.
you need to have that medium rare at least.
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah,
under
yeah.
that, it'll be tough and chewy, and you don't want that.
Yeah, so we need a pan like smoking hot, right?
And that's key. I mean, you get that pan piping hot with that smoke, you know that your pan's ready to give that ultimate crust on that steak.
So this is just a straight canola.
Doesn't instill flavor, high smoke point. Here we go. You want to hear that sear as soon as it hits the pan, otherwise you're going to be poaching your steak in oil, which you do not want. So now we moved it around,
So
getting
we're
all
moving
those,
it around,
getting
just
all those
kinda like
spices that kind of trickled away,
lifting up
and
the
getting
seasoning, the
that seasoning,
crusting.
crusting. Yeah. Look at that nice golden brown crust, that color. That's what we want to instill before we put it into the fancy 2,000 degree Fahrenheit oven, so that we can get that doneness throughout.
We're gonna put a little garlic in here.
So adding some crushed garlic and some fresh herbs to the oil will help add a little bit of aroma. We're gonna add a little bit of butter, and then we'll
enhance it a
baste
little,
that
you know?
steak as it's searing. Oh yeah, you can get that that smell of the thyme is just, and the garlic.
We need
it's
smell-o-vision,
roasting.
eh?
Smell-o-vision. That's my next big thing. My next big thing, smell-o-vision. Wow, that smells amazing.
All right,
Beautiful.
so at that point we're going
We're good
into
to
the
go?
Monty.
Look at that, eh? It even pulls out. Perfect. So if you were going to be doing a steak at home, you can still put it in your oven.
Yeah,
I normally do 450.
450 is good.
Buy a few steaks and try them all.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you'll have a few steaks.
It's really trial by error, right?
Yeah,
kind
exactly.
of thing.
And once you get comfortable with it, you'll make a perfect steak every time. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's important to finesse how long you sear your steaks, what temperature your pan is, and how hot your oven is, and you can make an amazing steak at home. All right, are we almost ready?
Oh yeah.
All right, look at that.
I think we're looking
Nice.
pretty good. I'm old school and I just
Yeah.
do that.
Perfect.
I like the feel of that.
Awesome. All right, and now one of the most important things that most people won't do at home again is rest your steak. So this will help keep the flavors inside, the juices inside.
This is it. We're gonna let that rest.
All right.
And then we're gonna do the matake
Yes.
dish.
All right. Perfect. All right, let's work on the mushrooms. It's mushrooms, but I mean, I kind of focused on the butter and the marrow. Look at
That's
that.
the butter and the marrow. So we render
Bone marrow.
We render bone marrow
Right.
and then whip it up with the butter. So we get these nice little kind of clusters
Beautiful.
of maitake mushrooms, and we'll just kind of quarter them.
Perfect.
Just because we want to kind of get a nice roast on them, and
Yeah, and keep that meaty consistency. 'cause
exactly.
They're
I
kind
was
of
just gonna
separated.
say showcase kind of like the meatiness
the-
of the mushroom. For me, actually, I like starting my mushrooms in a dry pan.
Okay. Perfect.
Everything's a process, right?
So why in
And
the dry pan?
mushrooms have a lot of water,
Right.
so we're
Helping
getting
evaporate
rid
that
of
water
some of
almost.
that water
Very
before
interesting.
we kind of
That's a great
and then
idea.
get a
And we're
nice
getting
little
toasted, right?
dry toasty char, which is like
Add some flavor
Kinda
and
like-
aroma to the mushroom
from here now. I'm gonna kind of hit it in,
with some canola oil,
hit it with some canola. With these guys too,
kosher salt.
some people they shouldn't season your mushrooms. I do
Yeah.
a little, especially with like the size of these. You really want to try to
Right.
get some of that salt to penetrate
Exactly.
into the mushy. So I'm just gonna add a little olive oil as well.
Perfect. All right.
Just give it a little bit of flavor, but
Yeah.
not enough that it's gonna make everything burn.
With a mushroom like that, an olive oil is a really good compliment.
It
Perfect.
is for sure.
And now the
then-
best compliment, I'm talking butter and bone marrow.
Yeah.
This is so exciting. Look at that. Wow.
So we got the bone marrow butter.
Oh, wow.
I'll put a little bit of thyme in
Oh,
here.
that's beautiful.
'cause mushrooms and thyme is kind of
Man.
Makes sense, right?
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
Beautiful. Oh man. Back again to that smell-o-vision, right? I mean, if we could
Smells
smell
so good.
that, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. So from here, I got the oven down here at 400.
Yep.
We'll go in there for like 5 minutes kind of
Perfect.
thing.
All right. Perfect. Okay.
Mushrooms are ready. I can hear them sizzling away in there.
Yep. Perfect.
So I want to rethrum the steak.
Yeah.
You know, look at that, eh?
Excellent. Oh my God, that looks so good.
Got some good.
I can't wait. All right.
Good juiciness.
So
we're
let's
just
get that outside a bit warm so that we
we're
have
just
an
gonna-
enjoyable steak experience.
we're
in the
gonna
mouth.
pop that back in there.
Perfect.
I'm gonna go to town in the mushroom lands.
All right.
We're out here.
Beautiful.
We're sizzling back, and then I just want to hit a little sherry vinegar in here.
All right.
It's all about its balance, right?
Yep.
So, you know, you have your salty, your sweet, your sour. You get a good balance of everything, and you're good. You know.
And that's the other key when cooking at home. I mean, a good balance of flavors will end up with the best taste of your dish, right?
Yes. Want to get that butter over
Beautiful.
there.
Look at that. Oh man.
I hear this steak is woohoo.
You can see that heat.
Really nice crust.
Yeah, look at that.
developed on there.
Oh yeah. Good doneness too.
Having a finishing salt on your meat,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
This nice fatty cut, we serve just with like a little chimichurri. That's
So
a
there
good
you go.
steak.
So I mean, that's a 40-day,
40-day.
dry-aged. I think that's Angus, isn't it?
Yeah.
A beautiful Angus
Prime.
ribeye, prime steak
Yeah.
from Canada. Our beautiful mushrooms, bone marrow butter. I mean, oh my goodness. I think we've done it. I think we should probably take a bite at a table. What do you say?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
I think so.
Okay. So now we get to do the best part of this
Yeah,
and try it. All right.
I think so too.
All right. I'm gonna go with this nice little piece here because I see that marbling that I really like.
Yeah.
Just gonna go with this little piece on the end.
I like I like that side.
Yeah, that side's a nice side of the ribeye. Ah, man.
I want to take a bite too.
Oh my God.
It's tender though, huh?
The fat inside is really nice and tender. The meat's tender. You really taste that dry aging. Like I mean, it's there. And I mean, even at 40 days, it's perfect.
But you still get good beefiness too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's important. If you go a little too long on dry aging, you're gonna start getting these hints of cheese, almost like Parmesan, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I like the flavor of beef, and you kind of lose that a little bit. I mean, if that's what you're looking for and you're looking for something funky, go for it. But if you really want a good steak with good flavor, this 40 days is perfect.
It's good, huh?
Oh, that's amazing. All right, we gotta try the mushrooms too.
Yeah.
They can't all be about the meat.
Mushrooms.
You taste that bone marrow. Nice meaty mushroom. Man, that's perfect. Awesome. Well, Michael, it's been fantastic. I mean, you're doing amazing stuff with your dry aging. You guys now not only do amazing seafood in Ottawa, you guys are doing amazing dry aged steak in Ottawa, and that's phenomenal. Thanks a lot for having me, and thanks for letting us prepare this amazing meal.
Yeah, thanks
And
for-
sharing that knowledge of dry aging with everyone, because it's something that's new and not everybody does it, not everybody knows about it,
Yeah.
but definitely has to experiment it.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure, man. Having the right tool for the task at hand is key, and when we're talking about the kitchen, a great knife will make a big difference. Let's see my friend Chris at Knifeware, and he'll tell us everything he knows about knives. Hey Chris, how you doing?
Good. You?
It's been a little while.
Yeah.
Things are good?
Yeah, it's great.
Awesome. I'm really excited to be here today. I mean, one of the biggest questions I get all the time is, should I invest in a knife? So you know what? I came to the expert today.
To me, it's an easy answer. If you've got a knife that you enjoy using, you'll enjoy using it. So, you know, makes cooking a lot easier. You'll start cooking at home more. You'll make better food for you and your family.
Cool. And like, if we're looking at like a price point that somebody's gonna get, you know, if they're gonna come in and buy a knife, they're gonna buy one knife. You know, what is a good price point for them to look at?
You know, a chef's knife, they start around 75, 80 bucks.
Right.
And then they go up from there.
Cool. So I mean, when we're looking at a knife and looking at shapes of knives, and different types of steel, can you show us different options? And,
Yeah, for sure.
And what they're good for?
Most people are concerned about that all-purpose knife.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So something like this.
Right.
This is called a gyuto, which translates to a cow sword. So gyu is the Japanese word for cow.
Right.
To is one of the many words that relates to blades.
Okay.
This is like your classic French chef's knife.
Right.
Okay? You do everything with it.
Right.
Right? Compare that to this, which is called a santoku.
Right.
Santokus, some people say it's 3 virtues or 3 problems solved. So you can do meat, fish, vegetables with it.
Right.
I've also heard people say it's good for slicing, dicing, and mincing.
Right.
So you can kind of cover everything.
Right.
A lot of people say a gyuto is an all-purpose knife that is a little better suited to meat preparation.
Okay.
Whereas a santoku is maybe a little bit better if you're heavier on the veggies.
Right.
Okay.
Makes sense. But at the same time, I guess whatever you're comfortable with is going to be your weapon of choice. Let's say.
I always tell people to, like, when you're picking out a knife, get the one that's like maybe just a little too big. Like just you're like a little bit afraid of it. Like you'll get used to it.
Right.
You know, but you'll always come across that melon that's too big, or that cabbage, or maybe you've got people over for dinner and you've got a giant roast and you have to carve it and all you have is a santoku.
Yeah.
My chef's knife's as big as this.
Wow, yeah.
You know, but about that tall.
Yeah. And my favorite
just
part
used
about
to it.
well, my favorite part about that length is getting like one clean slice.
Oh yeah.
When you're cutting through something, no jagged cuts. It's a perfect clean slice.
The other big thing that people are concerned about is maintenance.
Yeah.
All right. So the Japanese knives, you've got 3 situations for maintenance.
Right.
You've got something like this guy.
Right.
This is a stainless steel.
Right.
All right. Now it's a really nice stainless steel.
Yeah.
called
Nice and shiny. It's beautiful.
Well, it's SLD, so it's harder. It's a harder steel than most other available stainlesses. So the maintenance on this is a lot less than say this one, which we had earlier. This isn't like this knife is clad in iron.
Right.
So it's a much more reactive material. If you leave this knife wet on the counter, you'll come back to a rusty knife.
Exactly.
Your biggest rules are that you want to make sure you're keeping it dry when you're not using it. You're chopping 20 onions.
Yeah.
Every 5 onions, just wipe it off.
Oh yeah.
Just get in the habit of wiping it off.
Right.
You know, your rules are the same for every knife, really, stainless or carbon. You always want to wash and dry by hand. You want to store it somewhere safe where the edges aren't going to get banged around.
Right.
You're not going to cut yourself reaching into a drawer. Cool. And then just kind of like sharpening.
Right.
Or rather honing.
Honing. Right.
Honing is a better way to go about it.
Honing, for the sake of the viewer, it's not necessarily sharpening, right?
No.
We're straightening that edge
Exactly.
to maintain that sharpness for a longer period of
Yeah,
time.
when you put a knife to a stone, steel gets removed.
Exactly.
But when you put a knife against ceramic, it just gets shaped back into...
So get a nice straight edge.
Exactly.
When do you sharpen a knife? How often do you sharpen a knife?
A lot of our customers like to bring their knives in every 6 to 8 months. I find with Western style knives, you kind of almost got to cut it in half every 3 or 4 months. But my test is if I'm making dinner, I slice a tomato, my knife doesn't feel so good, I'll try it on the honing rod.
Yeah.
If it still doesn't slice the tomato, it's time to put it to a stone.
All right, so here we are. Picked my knife.
You got a gyuto, a 240 millimeter gyuto is a really good all-round chef's knife.
Exactly.
You know, a little bigger than what a lot of people look for, but I think it's the right size.
Yeah, I mean, I love the long blade for the slicing, and I mean, I love the finish for the look of it. Yeah. You know, and the iron is great hardness. Yeah. So that's excellent. All right, man. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for helping educate our viewers on, you know, how to buy a good knife and how valuable it is, right?
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Until next time, man.
Yeah, you got it. Good to see you.
When I'm in the Glebe and hunger strikes, pizza is my thing. Let's check in with Chef Colin at Anthony's to see just what he's tossing up today.
Hey, Colin. How you doing?
I'm good. And yourself, buddy?
Very good. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Things are good?
Yeah, they're great.
Today we're going to be making some amazing pies, all right? Some pizza. But I mean, not that commercial pizza that, you know.
No, the traditional stuff.
The
wood
real
oven.
traditional stuff. Handmade.
Handmade.
Wood oven. Beautiful. All right, what are we going to make?
Today we're going to make Margarita and a Johnny.
Amazing. Let's do it.
All right, buddy.
Okay.
Let's get some pies going.
So, you guys make your own dough,
Make our own
obviously.
dough. Make our own meatballs.
How long has this dough rested for?
This dough's on about 3 days.
Okay.
It's been made 3 days ago, and then it's balled the day after, and then it sits for about another 2 days afterwards. So it's good.
It's rested or risen for
It's
3
rested,
days.
risen, relaxed.
Relaxed. I like that. Relaxed dough.
Yeah.
So I
ready
mean,
to
and now what? Is it good to have it cold or room temperature?
I like to
or-
have it room temperature,
Right.
warm. It's easier to stretch.
Right.
It's not so hard on the forearms when you're trying to stretch 30 pizzas in a row. So I try to start just trying to flatten it out.
Okay.
Get that dough going, make a disc. I want to work the middle, not so much the crust.
Okay.
And then once I get it to almost the size of my palm, that's when I want to use my palm to flatten and the other hand to just stretch. And just gradually take it out. And if it's a little cold, you know, it might want to, the elastic wants to bring it back in a little bit. But once it's about the size of your hand, if it feels sticky, throw some more flour on top.
Always important. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, if you start feeling it starting to stick to your hands.
And that applies to most baking.
Exactly. Any sort of dough, bread. So at this point, for me, I would like kind of hand stretch,
Kind of like.
just like gravity do the work. Exactly.
Yeah. This is yeah.
Or yeah, like a bowl underneath with your fist, just kind of. It's a little bit of a learning process in the beginning.
And don't tell me you're gonna start throwing it now, are you?
I can if you want.
Well, I'm not. You might as well.
And I'm still like, it's still not up to par yet. We got to get out to about 12 to 18 inches.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you said we're making 2 types of pizzas.
We're gonna make a red pizza and a white pizza.
A white pizza. What
White
exactly is a white pizza?
White pizza is simple, it's just no sauce.
Right.
And we're just gonna add some olive oil for, moisture, flavor. Olive oil is the best, buddy.
So I seem to have a little spot here that's a little bit, a little thinner than the other.
That's okay, so what I'll do is I'll trade you. I'll give you this
All
one.
right.
Here you go. All right, so we got that one up to size. They're both good.
All right. Are we? Oh, I did a pretty good job.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's almost like I tossed it myself.
Not bad for your first day.
Hey. All right. I like it.
All right,
Okay, so we got the red and the white. So
The
we've
red-
got the Margarita, which is, the traditional.
traditional margarita. So I'll start with yours as the margarita.
Perfect.
We'll get the sauce on there.
So do you guys make your own sauce?
We make our own sauce. We're not growing our own tomatoes, but we make our own sauce.
That's fine, yeah.
I don't think we could keep up to growing our own tomatoes. Sauce, and then I'm gonna put Parmesan
Perfect.
for some flavor, and then I'm gonna do that.
Which is?
That's the fior di latte.
Fior di latte. So what is that exactly?
That is just fresh mozzarella.
Fresh mozzarella. This is cow's milk mozzarella?
Yes, it's not the buffalo mozzarella.
Perfect. All right. So I'm just going to rip this into chunks here?
Yeah, just do
Is there
random chunks. There's-
Like, am I going to put this whole ball on top?
no, you're gonna use about maybe a third of it.
Is that okay?
Good? Yeah.
It's good? All
Yeah.
right.
And I'll take that actually
Yeah.
because I'm gonna make the Johnny.
Do you mean Johnny or Gianni?
Gianni.
Gianni.
Not Johnny, Gianni.
So on that pizza,
We're gonna start with shredded mozzarella.
okay.
And then some more fior di latte.
So fior di latte is basically just the fresh mozzarella.
Yep.
It melts really nicely. It's got a really light, delicate, milky flavor.
Yes,
It's
very-
just fantastic on
very
pizzas.
creamy.
So good.
And then I need some spicy salami.
Is that calabrese?
The calabrese, yes.
Nice. So it adds a little bit of heat and also a little bit of natural oils from the meat, right? Which is
Exactly.
fantastic.
Get the flavor from there. And then
Beautiful.
last,
Ricotta. All right. So we've got mozzarella, fior di latte, and ricotta cheese.
and the margarita will get some basil.
Awesome.
All right, so we're gonna finish with olive oil,
Perfect.
just a little bit on there. And this one you want to put a little more because we don't have any sauce.
Right. Smells amazing. I mean, the basil, obviously.
Yes.
But the calabrese too. I can smell that the spices and stuff. Wonderful.
All right, so I'm gonna just get my flame up.
So I mean, the oven itself is wood fire.
Yep. Yes, it
What
is.
temperature are we looking to attain in an oven?
Right
like
now
this?
we're probably sitting about 600 degrees.
Okay.
So
So how do you
it's-
know that?
I just know.
You just know.
I just know. I've worked with the oven so long that.
Just know. So if it gets too high or too low, how does that get adjusted? Or?
Well, if it starts getting too hot, like if we've been cooking lots of pizzas that day and the stone gets hotter, I'll have to compensate with more flame in the top to cook the top of the pizza just as
Right.
fast as the bottom, and vice versa. If the bottom is
Exactly.
cold, I have to minimalize my heat at the top to get it to
Awesome.
cook at the same
So
temperature.
you're really good with fires as well.
Yes, don't tell anybody. We're gonna drop these pies in the oven.
Look at that. All right. So now you're just making it nice and round.
Making it round, I'm gonna shimmy it around a little bit just to make sure there's no flour in there
Oh, that's
underneath.
important
That's
too,
why we
yeah.
got the waffle peel. the flour burns in the bottom.
And then you'd have that burnt flour taste, which
Exactly.
is not what you're looking for when you're making fresh pizza.
No. The last thing you want is burnt anything on your food.
Absolutely.
Maybe a little bit of char on the top from the
That's
actual
good.
flame,
Yeah,
but
exactly. Beautiful. Wow, look at that.
we have a nice flame going. You know, the smoke is circling around.
Awesome. So now we're gonna let those cook for how long?
Maybe about 2 minutes tops, not even.
Beautiful
We're gonna
pies.
have our Johnny and Margarita.
Nice.
We'll just finish with them a little salt.
So the finishing salt's gonna help bring out the flavors of the fior di latte?
Yes.
Oh man. I'm pretty stoked right now.
I'm actually getting hungry. These look great. I'm gonna have a little bit of Johnny.
Okay, and I'll say I'll have a little bit of the Margarita. Margarita. Oh yeah, a little pinch. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Oh man, so good. I love the taste of the wood oven. You really taste that on the crust, right? All the little charred bits and the little black parts.
That's where the flavor is.
Man, that's what makes a difference. It really makes a difference compared to the commercial pizzas.
Nice and spicy, this one too.
The fior di latte is amazing. All right, well, Colin, it's been a pleasure. Thanks a lot for having us.
Thank you.
Looking forward to my next pie adventure.
There you go.
It's St. Patrick's Day, one of the biggest celebrated days here in Ottawa, and I'm here with Chef Matt at the Heart and Crown. It's a crazy day. I got to pull you out of the kitchen. Really excited. I know you guys are making some amazing dishes that are really classic, and we're gonna make one today, right?
Absolutely. We're gonna make the greatest dish that I love. It's one of my favorite St. Patrick's Day dishes. It's a roasted rack of lamb with a nettle and herb crust, a cold cannon mashed potato, which is very traditionally Irish, and a Guinness Irish cheddar infused gravy on top of it.
Amazing.
It's delicious.
Oh man, I can't wait to do that, but you know what? It's St. Patrick's Day. Why don't we grab a pint first?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Can't wait.
Let's go.
Okay, let's jump in. So
All right.
first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna sear off our rack.
Perfect.
So we'll pull them out. I have 3 of them prepped here, but we're just gonna do 1. Salt, pepper.
Perfect.
Let her sit there
Seasoning
for a
is always
second.
important.
Grab our pan. I like to sear in butter because it just gives so much more richness to it.
Because, as usual, butter is better.
Butter is always better, but a
Butter is better.
touch of oil, just because the flash point's different.
Exactly, and that'll help the butter not burn as quickly.
That's exactly right.
Perfect.
So while that's going, Maddie, we're also going to do a cold cannon mashed potato,
Yeah.
which is a very traditional Irish mashed potato.
Yep.
It's got braised cabbage in it. So if
Perfect.
you don't mind grabbing a chef knife, giving me a nice paisan cut on this, and then we'll get that going. I'm
much
gonna
do you
grab
want?
about right there is good.
Right here?
That's beautiful, yeah. I'm gonna grab another pan, and then we're gonna start that off in some butter as well.
Is that good?
And a touch of oil. Yeah, that's perfect.
Paisan cut. What's that? A rough
It's a
right?
rough cut. It kind of refers back to just a very country style. Mom's
Right.
in the kitchen just
Yeah.
slicing away.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to taste delicious.
Perfect.
So
That's
it.
perfect for a home cook like me.
Yeah, perfect.
Hey,
Exactly.
all right.
So we're gonna wait for this stuff to get up there. So once this melts and we get it to heat, we're gonna throw that lamb in there.
Look at that butter.
Yeah. We'll do we're gonna baste that a little bit as well, try to get some nice brown on there before it hits the oven. Our oven is set at 475, 450 right now.
All right.
It's not gonna take a long time to cook.
No.
We're gonna go for a nice medium. We're gonna try and hit about 120 internal. It'll hit up to about 125, 130.
Perfect.
Should come out at a nice
Medium rare,
medium.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're almost there. You can throw that cabbage in there if you want.
All right.
And again, a little bit of salt and pepper with it. And then basically we just want to do a butter poach. We don't want any color on there whatsoever. We just want to let it cook down so it's nice and soft. All right, I'm going to get this lamb in there.
That's awesome. What kind of lamb are we using today?
We're using Australian lamb.
Perfect.
So local stuff isn't quite what we had in stock right now. So
All good.
I'm gonna baste and baste and baste and baste, just trying to get some color all around this bad
So
boy.
the difference between an Australian lamb, a rack of lamb, versus the Ontario rack of lamb, there's a bit of a difference in the taste, right?
There's a lot of difference in the taste simply because of what they're fed. Yeah, there's a massive flavor difference from the Ontario rack lamb to the New Zealand or the Australian lamb. I find it a little bit richer. Like the product a little bit better. We
Right.
just didn't have any in stock right now. This is still an amazing product.
I mean, the Australian lamb is delicious too, right?
Yeah.
It's different. It's awesome. Perfect.
So we're gonna
this
flip
is starting to get a
over
little
and
bit
see.
brown.
That's
Should I
looking
take it
good.
off
We're
you?
just gonna turn that right down. Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh yeah.
Looking good. Looking good. Nice and brown, golden color. The best part about a rack of lamb is that you can prepare it and serve it fairly quickly.
You're
And
looking.
It's a prime cut. I mean, it's a delicious meal.
Yeah. 15
Great
minutes from the
meal.
time it hits the pan to the time it hits a plate.
Absolutely.
And that's great. A little bit of rest time in there.
Yeah.
It's so versatile. Lamb is such a versatile meat. So many things that you can do with it. So many things that you can play with.
I love it. And I mean, you can do it like a rack like that, or you can actually just sear the medallions in a pan, right?
Yeah, we could have taken this whole rack, as you said, Matty. We could have done medallions. So we could have taken the bone right off of here, slice nice, beautiful round medallions.
Yeah.
Another traditional Irish way of doing it.
Or the lollipop, right?
Or we could have left the lollipop right on there and just grabbing the bone, and you can walk around like that. So this is our nettle right here, Matty. It's already prepped up a little bit
So
for us.
nettles, right? Yeah.
It's very similar to, you would treat it a lot in the same way that you would treat cabbage or spinach. It can go into lasagnas. You can braise it off, blanch it off.
So what kind of flavor does it instill?
It's got a lot of that green flavor. Talking a lot like not like a baby spinach, but a heartier spinach.
Yeah,
or
like a bit of a bitterness.
a touch of bitterness to it, and you don't want to use a lot of it.
Right.
We're gonna crust this a little bit with the nettle and a little bit of rosemary. So Maddie, if you wouldn't mind, if you could just clean up a little bit of that rosemary for me while I paint this. So we're just gonna do, this is a mix of grainy mustard and Keen's mustard, to be fair, because I like that heat that comes out of it. Always goes well with the rosemary as well.
Mustard is amazing.
Yeah. So we'll give this a nice brush. And reason it adds flavor, but also it adds the texture to help get the nettle and the rosemary to stick, right?
Absolutely. All right. Perfect.
Beauty. So there we go.
How much
That's good.
is that enough?
I think you're good right there.
Yeah.
And then we'll mix it with probably about that right there. Then if you want to give that a nice pat, clear it up for me, throw it on. That's beautiful. Yeah, Maddie. So for your cabbage, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's
nice,
good.
tender. Once that's mixed with the mashed potatoes,
Yeah.
nice little texture
Oh,
there,
man.
but not too much crush.
I
A little
love
bit
cabbage.
seasoned. Me too. Me too.
So good.
Yeah.
All right. That crust is going to become nice golden brown. It's going to add such an amazing flavor. Yeah, that looks great.
Beautiful.
Perfect. So now 475.
She's gonna go in the oven, yeah.
Excellent.
8 minutes maybe, and then we'll take a temp on it and see where we stand. Cabbage is done. That's the main component of the cold cannon, obviously.
A
This is
portion
a-
of mash.
This is our homemade mash. So
Right.
Yukon Golds,
Right.
mini reds, Yukons, salt, pepper, and roasted garlic and butter.
Perfect. Yep. All right. So we're just gonna add that to the
We're
cabbage.
gonna add that right into the pan.
Perfect.
Beautiful. So we're gonna slowly do that. So while that's on, just slowly warming up. We've got our,
Spatula?
beautiful. Yep. So what we're gonna do while that's heating up and while our lamb's in is we're gonna make our sauce really quick.
Perfect.
So we're gonna do a veal, Guinness, and Irish cheddar gravy
Oh
for
man,
it.
that sounds delicious.
All right. So
All right.
veal base, touch of Guinness. 'Cause that's what we're talking about today. This is called Dubliner cheddar. It's an aged Irish cheddar.
It kind of breaks apart. Yeah, look at that. You can see
Very
that because of
crumbly.
the aging. Yeah.
Very oily,
Wow.
but just such
beautiful.
depth of flavor. It's not overpowering. It's great to go into sauces.
It's very complimentary. It'll be great in the gravy. Awesome.
Maddie, if you want to grab that cream behind you there, bro, and open that up for me. Maybe an ounce and a half. Beauty, good. So yeah, let's check on that rack and see where we stand.
All right.
See how she looks.
Looking good.
Yeah, that looks nice.
That's a good. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. I'll be sitting at about 115, maybe 120.
Yeah, 120. Yeah.
Let's take a quick look and see. Double check. I always like to double check.
An instant read thermometer like that is a great kitchen tool at home. You can make sure that that is exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah. So we're sitting at 120 right now, so that's great.
Perfect.
It's going to come out nice. Still have some nice red in there. We're going to take it off. We'll start plating the rest while this rests. It's super important to let any protein that you cook rest. Temperature comes down on the outside. All your juices get sucked back into the center.
Yeah.
So when you cut it, it doesn't bleed out basically.
Yeah.
So you keep all that moisture and all the fat inside. It really changes the quality of the meat monumentally by either resting or not resting. If you don't rest, it's just not going to be as good.
Awesome. All right.
So we'll start
grab a
plating
plate.
while it sits.
I mean, you don't want it to be too raw. You want it to be nice and pink. I love it. That's perfect. It's gonna be amazing flavor. Look at that crust. Nice. It's just excellent. Wow, I'm really excited, man. This is so good. Definitely St. Patrick's Day in a plate right there. How perfect is that?
Got a little bit of green.
Perfect. There you go, we have it. The beautiful rack of lamb crusted with nettles, rosemary, the cheese sauce with some beer, some veal jus. Man, this is gonna be amazing. You know what?
I'm excited.
I think we should probably head upstairs in the dining room and dive in.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's dig in, man.
Perfect. Let's do it.
I'm just trying to race you to it. You're just good.
I'm going to
Nice
dig in. I'm
big.
just going to grab that whole rack right there. I'm going to dip that in sauce. I'm going to jam it in my mouth just like this.
Tender, delicious, fantastic. Let's try the cold cannon with the sauce.
That's great. I love that.
How can you not like lamb, right? Lamb is so good. Lots of people have a hesitance. However, it's such a great protein. And I mean, if you haven't tried it yet and you think, I'm not gonna like that, just take a chance.
And start with the rack as well. There's so much flavor in it, and it's not as gamey as some other cuts of lamb.
Right.
It's really a nice transition cut if you've never tried it before.
Exactly.
So much flavor in there.
All right, well, this is a great St. Patrick's Day dish. Thanks for celebrating it with us. It's been a pleasure, man.
Thank you.
A benchmark in luxury accommodations and impeccable service, the Fairmont Chateau Laurier changed the face of downtown Ottawa when it opened on June 1st, 1912. Nestled inside of this beautiful castle is Zoe's Lounge, where I'm about to enjoy one of the poshest activities here in Ottawa. Care to join me for a spot of tea? Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen you, but I've never experienced this. This is something that everybody talks about. When you go to Ottawa, you should go for high tea. Wait, it's not high tea though, right?
No, it's not high tea. It's actually, a lot of people call it high tea, but
Yeah.
it's high tea has a lot more meats and fish
Right.
and things like that. It's something that people confuse all the time.
Yeah.
It's actually called afternoon tea.
Okay.
So, and it's funny because even that is a little bit different.
Oh.
So you have afternoon tea, or you can call it low tea if it was served on a lower table. So there's all sorts of little fine heights in afternoon tea.
Now, there's an opportunity to do different things. We consume tea, we consume food, and then we can also consume Prosecco.
Absolutely. So if you want to fancy up your afternoon tea,
I like that, yeah.
Especially on weekends, we see a lot of people coming in and they come in for celebrations or baby showers and wedding showers and that kind of thing. And of course, having a little glass of Prosecco or champagne never hurts with your afternoon tea.
Sounds good to me.
Just don't tell the British.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, we got a beautiful tower here.
Yes.
this is designed for both of us, or?
So this is a single tea tower. So when you order afternoon tea, you will get this entire tea tower. Now, the other thing about afternoon tea is before the British used to have it, they say it's more around 4 o'clock. So it's meant to be kind of a meal replacement, if you will.
Okay.
So you have it. Here, we cheat the system with the time a little bit. So on the weekends, it's actually starts at noon and goes until 5 o'clock. You'll notice the sandwiches that we have. So they aren't the traditional little white bread tea sandwiches that you would get for afternoon tea. And we've added a bit of a modern day twist. Still a lot of the main components, so the cucumber sandwich, for example, but presented in a much different way. So all those sandwiches, you still have the lox, but still, again, presented in that open face style. So
taking it up a tier.
I like it.
You like that?
Yeah, that was
so,
good.
I mean, we've got some beautiful scones.
That's right.
Sandwiches, desserts.
Yes.
I mean,
and that's very traditional for afternoon tea. I will tell you, and I am willing to bet that once you taste one of our scones, you will agree with me that we make the best scones on earth.
The best scones on earth.
On earth.
On earth.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I promise you.
Okay, well, we'll get to there because I
Yes.
see there's Devonshire cream and I'm quite excited.
Again,
What is
it
it to me?
actually is clotted cream, and they
Right.
actually are two different things.
That's right. They
So
are.
people, it's so funny because those are all the things that I learned when I started here, because I started calling it Devonshire cream.
Yeah,
They're like, it's not quite Devonshire cream, and those differences are very subtle,
Right.
but definitely there.
And we're going to be drinking some tea. So
Yes.
what kind of teas will we be drinking today?
So we have a variety, a big selection of teas.
Yeah,
so you can
sure.
have anything from a black tea to a fruity tea. This today, what you see in front of me, is actually a blooming tea.
Yes.
So I know you are a tea connoisseur, if you will.
Somewhat.
So
Somewhat.
you know exactly what this is, and it's really interesting because what happens with this is it comes in a bit of a ball, and
Right.
people, if they've never seen it, it's worth getting that blooming tea to see it really open up into a flower.
Right. So, I mean, they take the whole leaves and they bundle it up.
That's right.
And tie it up and dry it up. And that way, when it does hit the water,
That's
in a
right.
short period of time, it'll bloom into a beautiful
They
flower.
say approximately 7 minutes, and you
Right.
want to make sure that it steeps for that long because you want the flavors to really come through.
Exactly. I mean, steeping time is very important when it comes to tea.
Absolutely. And also your water. So your water
100%.
has to be boiled and properly boiled.
Yeah, temperatures are
Hot
important.
water just doesn't cut it.
No, exactly. And I mean, different varieties of tea require different temperatures, to be precise.
Absolutely. You're right. See, I knew you were a connoisseur.
Hey,
Even
Prosecco and
much
tea
better
and
than-
food, I mean, I'm here.
You're here. Excellent.
All right, so I mean, in this pot, what are we going to be trying?
We have the Fairmont Earl Grey. So
Okay.
our tea actually comes from a company that specializes the teas and does some specialty teas just for Fairmont.
Cool.
So that's our Fairmont Earl Grey, and it is
Awesome.
delicious. It's a little more buttery than a traditional.
Oh man, if you've been taking part in any of my cooking segments, butter is very important. So I mean, that sounds like amazing tea.
Yeah, you will love it. You will love it. But it's a very traditional black tea,
Yeah.
but again, has that more buttery taste to it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Now-
well, why don't we see? Let's pour some tea. And,
There you go. Let's do that.
I'll try the
Although
Earl
the
Grey.
Prosecco is always a great.
Oh well, we will consume that as well.
So you'll notice that the blooming tea is very light.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't come dark. And then yours
Yeah.
is much darker, that black tea approach. So many choose to drink their Earl Grey tea with milk.
Yep.
So some don't, some do, but a lot of people love it with milk. How do you like yours?
I like my tea black.
You do? You like your tea black? Okay. All right.
I'm gonna save the clotted cream for the desserts.
Yes. Well, the clotted cream, I will tell you, is delicious with our homemade jam because we
Well,
actually
yeah,
make
of course.
that jam in-house.
I love the homemade jams because homemade jams, don't have those additives, those preservatives. I have to try the tea.
Yep.
So this is, I'm gonna look for that buttery flavor.
Yes.
That texture, flavor?
Flavor.
Flavor. You're right. I do kind of get that buttery, buttery flavor, and it is very smooth.
Yes.
Very smooth. Some really good flavors. It's a really nice Earl Grey for sure.
And what's nice about that one is, especially if you like to drink it black, having that smoother flavor. It goes down a little bit.
But there's a
nicer.
smooth texture.
Yeah.
I'll complement that with buttery flavor. It's almost like it feels like butter on your
There you
tongue.
go. Great.
Coming from a Frenchman.
Yeah, there you
it's a
go.
good thing. So what's the proper way to eat a scone?
The proper way to do it is actually to start with the jam and add the clotted cream on top.
So do you put it on top of the scone?
Nope.
Wow.
They will just. So no knife required.
Nice. So jam first?
Yes,
Jam first and then the clotted cream.
that's right.
So that means we get to put a nice big
Clump.
clump of clotted cream?
Yes.
That's the best part. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
And I think it's your favorite part, right?
It's my favorite
Okay,
part,
so
for sure.
And then you want to go with your clotted cream. Now you need to take a bite.
The jam smells amazing.
And yes, we have
Wow.
that too, but go ahead.
Wow.
Was it close?
Oh my goodness. Best in the universe.
I know, right?
It's perfect. It's not too dry.
Yep.
But you don't want it to be moist either because a scone
No.
shouldn't be moist. It's got a perfect consistency. And the jam is just perfectly sweet. It's not
Yeah.
too sweet.
And a little
It's
bit of a
perfectly
crunch
sweet.
on the outside. So,
Yep.
I mean, you have the bottom
You
piece
have the
there,
crisp,
but
yeah,
but you
for
have
sure.
that crispiness
And then that nice creamy,
texture.
oh my goodness, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Good.
What kind of sandwiches are we gonna try today?
So today we have the turkey on a beautiful puff pastry. Then, of course, you have a blue cheese and pear. You have the lox, so that smoked salmon, and again with the capers and
Those look like
they're a little
fried
bit
capers.
yeah, they're a little bit fried. And then, of course, I mean, it can't be afternoon tea without one cucumber sandwich, right?
Exactly.
And then you have the smoked meat sandwich.
You've told me already a couple times that you can't have afternoon tea without a cucumber sandwich.
Yes.
So, you know what, I'm gonna try that first.
Different, right? Very subtle in taste.
There's dill, right?
Yes, there is. Absolutely.
Getting dill. Very
Yeah.
nice and light.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could eat a lot of these.
Yeah. So could I.
So now if I was going into the desserts, which one should I go for?
That's a hard choice for me because they're all fabulous. So if you look around, you have a little bit of everything, including our Canadian maple fudge. Then, of course, you have a nice little biscotti on the side, which is always nice with tea or coffee. For a really traditional afternoon tea, you'll often find pound cake. So we have a pound cake here,
Right.
but has really lovely flavors of orange with some cranberries and a little bit of a glaze on top.
All right, let's try this.
Yes. Again, not too heavy. Nice with the little glaze on top.
There's a lot of control in the sugar. You have sweetness, but
Yes.
it's not too sweet.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important because when you're consuming or drinking tea,
Yes.
and I don't drink tea with sugar generally.
Yeah.
It's nice to have sweet elements, but you don't want it to be
Yes.
too sweet because you want that tea to be able to still, complement what you're eating.
That's right.
So, Deneen, it's been a pleasure. It's my first afternoon tea. I will surely be back.
Glad.
And I guess we should probably finish our Prosecco.
Don't you think? Cheers.
Cheers again. Thanks again.